Welcome to the Disneyland Forever podcast, your source for all things from the happiest place on earth. For more updates, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Disneyland Forever, and you can check out our website, disneylandforever.com. Hey everyone.
Hello.
It's Jordan.
And Daniel.
And I think it was a really good week.
Sure.
What? I actually just, in various ways, I think it was a good week.
It was your birthday,
Well, that too. I wasn't just talking about that.
Yeah.
But it was generally a good week, except for when I-15 got closed
Yeah.
and then all the traffic around our place just stopped.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Freeways are kind of essential for travel, evidently, in especially large metropolitan areas. Because if they're shut down, then everyone goes on every side road, including our area.
I don't know why it still makes me laugh every time someone says something like large metropolitan area. I'm like, Salt Lake isn't even that large of a metropolitan area.
Compared to
it's the largest in this area, in this region. There's nothing that even comes close. But
compared to the middle of Winnemucca, Nevada, or
is there a Winnemucca, Nevada?
Yes.
Where is that? Are you being serious?
Yes, that's why I always use it, because it's a cool name.
When would I have ever gone through Winnemucca, Nevada?
Well, I haven't, but I assume it's tiny.
So then why should I know about it?
Because it sounds cool.
Oh! The only tiny towns I know in Nevada are, well, apparently Carson City, Elko, Ely, and Wendover.
Yeah. Okay, Wendover then. Doesn't sound as cool as Winnemucca.
Okay. Anyway, I thought it was a good week. Whatever. We are just a few days away from our Disneyland trip, which is also exciting.
Haven't been in 2 months.
We're talking to some of my family, my nieces who I teach music to, and they were like, oh no, like when was the last time you went? Like, we haven't been to California since December. And they went, oh no, it's so long.
So terrible.
I know. Just
shut up.
But we are excited to go back because
it's for work purposes for our podcast and things. Do a tax write-off or something,
please. That's just what we need.
No,
the IRS come at us. Don't want that, so we won't be doing that.
Nope.
What we
for the like $12 we make a month on this podcast probably won't help.
So what we are actually going to be talking about this week is we want to talk a little bit more about monorails specifically. So especially to compare and contrast the monorail systems of Disneyland versus Walt Disney World, because if you have not been to both coasts, you might not realize how different they are. They are
night and day.
They are very night and day in so many different ways. And so
they both are on one rail, and mono means one and rail means rail. From The Simpsons.
Okay. And then we'll talk a little bit about the history of them too. Not like terribly a ton, but a little bit about history, because it's kind of interesting to note about where this even came from in the beginning. And why, like how long the monorails that you see have been there. But mostly like how they operate, because it is very different on the two coasts. But before we get into all that, as usual, we do have a new review.
We do, from R. Ortega. They said, feels like Disney with friends.
Yay.
Listening to this podcast always feels like a chat with future friends. Informative, helpful, and funny. I get joy out of tuning in every week.
Yay!
Nice and straight to the point. I'm glad you enjoy.
And thank you so much for leaving that review.
Yes.
I'm glad that... honestly, we actually do love when you guys reach out to us online. I know we're not always great about posting. We did do one last week. I'm actually starting to get better. It's just I've been starting to get busier with work.
Yeah.
Not like stressful, which in case you're wondering, I'm less stressed,
Yay!
but just more busy. And if you're wondering how does that work?
Most of the stress was not being busy.
I was just stressed, period. This time I'm busy, but I'm not stressed about it. Yeah. So it's fine. But we are doing better. We do appreciate when you guys reach out. And even if it's just to like ask questions or just like comment on something that we've been doing, like we love that. So
and stop us if you see us in the park.
Yes,
we walk at 85 miles an hour,
and we know that
we look like we're going with purpose
because we are,
and we usually look angry because there's people in our way while we're trying to go 85 miles an hour,
which is actually kind of true.
But just stop us; it'll be just fine. We won't be angry at you.
We promise. So anyway, thank you guys so much. We're glad, and I hope that you're still listening. Let me know if R. Ortega, is that what it said?
Yep.
Let us know if you're still listening.
Well, I would assume they said they're
Maybe
do it regularly.
You never know.
That's true.
But at any rate, make sure if you have not yet done so, leave us a 5-star rating, please, 5 stars, on Apple or Spotify or Audible, and you can also leave us a 5-star please, on review as well on Apple, and we enjoy reading them. So thank you guys so much.
What's the maximum of the stars?
6.
22.
6, so that we can leave 1 to grow on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you guys. We appreciate it. In terms of news, contracts attempting... Oh, yeah, you did write that.
Yeah, the contractors tried to kill 5 or 7.
Said contracts attempting murder,
Yeah,
which is actually kind of what happened.
Someone doing like contracted work at Disneyland.
They didn't try to murder anyone.
Well, they didn't know how to mix chemicals evidently, and there was a caustic smell.
It even kind of made the national news. So if you saw it, there was like some hazardous material, like hazardous chemical, caused them to evacuate basically the whole back of Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And they said it was from the cast member.
Star Tours.
Yeah, they said it was in the cast member area, but they said some cast members were treated for exposure. Like no one really, I think they said they were hospitalized, but nothing serious.
Yeah, just precaution.
So they're fine.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for like taking an abundance of caution on that. But as far as we understand, everything's fine.
Don't want to be sued by the cast members later.
But that is what happened. So, okay. Also, over in Avengers Campus, we had mentioned before that area that used to be the Fast Pass distribution area for Tower of Terror. And if you understood none of that, that's because that has none of those words have been in use for ages.
Everyone still calls Lightning Lanes Fast Passes.
I know, but we're trying to make sure that people stop because it's not like a Fast Pass. But the Fast Pass distribution area for Tower of Terror that has just been sitting there being basically nothing for a while, it's reopened, and it is, in fact, just a seating area, lots of tables to sit and eat at. Apparently quite a few. From the picture I've seen.
It looks bigger to me, but Jordan's like, no, it looks the same. Or it was the same.
It looks the same size to me. Maybe it's a little bit bigger, but it looked the same size to me. But it's a more sizable area than I would have thought to fit more tables than I would have thought. So if you are eating, especially it's great for those eating at Pim Test Kitchen, because most of the time anymore we don't have a huge issue finding tables, but it's not like it's a large sitting area.
Sometimes it can get busy at Pim's.
Yeah. And so it's nice that there's another option just on the other side.
Now that they don't really serve food at Pim's anymore. They do. It's not good anymore.
They still have some good stuff, don't they? Well, every once in a while we find new stuff that was still good.
I guess.
Just not our favorites.
Yeah, they got rid of the really good Impossible meatball-y thingy.
They got rid of the PB cubed sandwich, which I loved.
At least they still have the Hulk Smash Bar or whatever, the
Choco Smash Bar.
Yep.
Yeah. They change their menu all the time. Actually, right now I've heard good things about the thing that's there for the Food and Wine Festival, the spinach artichoke grilled cheese, because it has Parmesan crusted on the bread. People said they would like to just have the bread, please.
More bread, please.
Anyway, we digress, which, go figure. Also, over in Fantasyland, there's signage up now for what's taking over the Fantasyland Theater, which is Bluey's Best Day Ever. So the sign is up, so getting ever that much more closer to it opening.
Oh, no, that's Blue.
I was like, what are you doing? I was waiting. Okay, I was waiting for this reference.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I was waiting for this reference because you know absolutely nothing about Bluey.
I know. Evidently, it's a girl, and they're Australian. And they do TV shows that are very short. So they're like 15 minutes, I think.
They're not 15 minutes. They're like 9 minutes.
Okay,
not even
still
that,
short.
I don't think.
That's all I know.
So that's why I was like, oh, you're going to do a reference now? Of what?
Blue,
you don't even know what she sounds like.
Blue from Blue's Clues, evidently.
That's not the same thing.
Nope.
So apologies if we've offended any of the Bluey fans out there.
I constantly offend people, I know.
But basically, yeah, the sign is up. We're getting closer to the opening date of that show.
As a Disney fan, I know about Disneyland, Disney World, and like 6 movies. That is all.
But the 6 movies rotate, I will say. They're not always the same.
No, there's some consistency. I know everything about Newsies.
Why?
Because it was my childhood. And Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. I never watched any of the old classics. They're all slow. I never watched them.
Why are we together?
I don't know.
Anyway, moving on. Wow, all that just came from Bluey's best day ever. Over in California Adventure, something that they have now opened, because they had, I think I was expecting something like this. That Redwood Creek Challenge Trail was closed for a while for a refurbishment. When it reopened, they have a new activity called Mabel's Seek and Find, and it's based off of the new movie Hoppers.
Doesn't the Disney universe already have like 73 Mabels?
I only know of one other one.
Just from
Gravity Falls.
I thought there was another one in a movie.
Maybe there is, but it's not coming to me immediately.
Turning Red what's her name?
I do not remember
Ming
her
Nao
name.
Ling or something.
I just remember her. No, May. Her name is May.
May. Okay, never mind. Maybe there's only one other Mabel.
I know of at least one other. So anyway, the way that this works, I'm just trying to read through this because there's a lot more information than you actually need to know in this article. So I'm just trying to make sure we understand it. So it just says the whole thing is you're going to explore the trail and complete challenges to bring all the animals back to the glade. I'm guessing that's what it's called in the movie. And they have a bunch of signs all over the place that have characters. And apparently what it is that you pick up a sticker and a map. They're free. But there's different options for the maps and what you're going to do, and there's different options for the stickers. And they're all featuring characters. You open up the map. Maybe it's not different challenges. Maybe it's just different map members. It's not written very clearly. It says, before heading into the trail, guests can pick up a free sticker and a map. Some of the sticker options, so maybe it's the same map, but different sticker options. Some of the options include King George, Tom Lizard, and Ellen Bear. Then we don't need a description of what the maps look like. Okay, so the things that you do along the way, there's explore, spot the reptile queens. Don't be a stranger, find another lizard on the trail and wave hello. Weather station, find the temperature reading at the weather station. Beaver Dam, stop by the Beaver Dam.
Don't swear.
Decode a secret message, find the decoder to unlock the message from Tom Lizard. And then it says, we're all in this together. High frequency levels are harmful to the animals. Turn the dial and bring the animals back to the glade. And then you complete it, and I think that's about it. Is that you finish it, and then you can do it again if you want. This makes it seem like the activities are actually pretty fun. They have a lot of things that they've added all throughout Redwood Creek.
We should probably see the movie at some point too.
Yeah, it only recently came out. It's not like we've had a ton of opportunities to see it, but. So that is now opened at Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. So especially if you have seen the movie, go check it out. And then lastly, a name you may or may not have heard of. His name is Thomas Maslum. I think it's Maslum. It could be Masloom. He has been serving since March of 2025 as the president of Disneyland. Took over from Ken Potrock. He has now been named the new president of Disney Experiences. So Josh D'Amaro was the president of Disney Experiences. He's now, within the next few days, he's going to be assuming the role of CEO of the company, or president. No, he's president of the company. It's the other one who's the CEO. Yes, he's going to be president of the Disney company. And so his old spot is now being filled by Thomas Maslum. I actually am not sure how a lot of the Disney universe is taking this, not because I think anyone has like horrible opinions of him, but people have noticed that in the last year, which is basically since Maslum has been in charge of Disneyland, especially with festivals, they've seen things just offerings cut back a little bit. They've noticed there's like at the festival holidays, even we noticed there was far fewer festival booths. I think they said that at least this year for Food and Wine, they've noticed that there's less food options at the festival booths. They've seen quality go down a little bit in the food because they're like doing cheaper options, like the fries at Award Wieners have gone generic. They said they've started buying cheaper chocolate at the Candy Palace without the sweets that they make. So people are just curious if that is directly from him or if it's from other things. And they don't know. And so I think there's reason for us to be like,
could be
interesting.
Coincidental. Yeah. Who knows?
But it's not like when, I think people already had alarm bells when Bob Chapek became CEO, because he had been in charge of, ever since his tenure at Disney Experiences at that point, it was not good. It was
terrible.
So people are just like really worried, I think, in general. But not for him specifically, just like, I hope they're going to be doing a good job, basically. And I don't know much about him, especially since his tenure at Disneyland's been so short. So
hopefully things go well.
That's it for news. So what we wanted to talk about, we mentioned monorails. So I'm sure everyone knows.
I hear those things are very loud.
Awfully loud.
Awfully loud.
Misquoted. You misquote all the
I get the
time.
gist of it.
I know you do.
You didn't complete the. What's the rest of the quote?
It glides as softly as a cloud. I can't remember what the word is. I think it might be glides, might be something else. Anyway,
Simpsons. Watch Simpsons.
the monorail episode, in case you're wondering.
It's so funny.
So Disney parks and monorails have gone hand in hand. Though, funnily enough, there's only 3 Disney resorts in the world that are serviced by a monorail: Disneyland, Disney World, and Tokyo.
And the Tokyo one
Is not done by Disney
and very weird.
because it's not done by Disney.
Yeah.
It's actually done by some private company, but besides the Oriental Land Company. But I was going to say trading company. That's not what they're called. The Oriental Trading Company is a much different company. Anyway, so the monorail started at Disneyland in 1959. That was when it first opened. It was I'm sure you hear this every single time you ride the monorail at Disneyland. The one at Disneyland was the first daily monorail system.
West of the Mississippi, right?
Yeah, west of the Mississippi. Actually, no, in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh, that's right. When it first started. Yeah.
When it first opened, it was the first daily operating monorail in the Western Hemisphere.
And everyone knows Walt Disney loved new things and technology in the future. So.
He went to Europe and he knew they had monorails there, and he wanted to bring that technology to Disneyland to showcase a little bit. In fact, that's why originally it was called the Disneyland Allweg monorail, because Allweg was the name of the company that designed it and built it. And famously, when they opened and christened the monorail at Disneyland, the vice president at the time, Richard Nixon, he and his family were there.
I am not a crook.
Well, he wasn't then. Maybe. He was there for the dedication, and as planned, Walt welcomed him into the monorail, and it was just them for the first loop around the track. And then when they were coming back, they were supposed to just do one loop, and the Secret Service didn't follow them in. They just were there at the station. And then Walt told the monorail driver to take them around another loop because they really were enjoying it. So he
kidnapped the vice president.
He technically kidnapped him, and people said they could see the Secret Service kind of freaking out when the monorail didn't stop. And then they came back to the station, stopped, everything was fine. But technically, Walt kidnapped the vice president of the United States for a short period of time. It was interesting.
And he served a 20-year sentence in the federal penitentiary.
It wasn't too long before the monorail track was extended. At the time, it didn't even really go out the park very much because it didn't need to. It mostly just circled around inside the park and then came back to the station. But then not too long after, they extended it to go out to the Disneyland Hotel, which again, back then was not owned by Disney at all. But they wanted to offer that service of people who stayed at that hotel. They could have their own private station to get on the monorail and come into the park.
I still can't remember how that worked as a kid because it's so far away from the hotel right now. But evidently there was part that went out there.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, the station in downtown Disney, that has never moved. That is where the station has been.
But the hotel is not even close.
Since then. But it's because there used to be whole extensions of the hotel that went out to that point. And then they have long ago, they demolished them. But that's why it's weird. People say well, it used to go to the hotel. It's more like the hotel used to come to the station.
Yeah.
But it has actually never moved since they built it out there. They did alter the track a little bit when they built California Adventure just so they could, because they wanted to go through the park. But it hasn't changed much since then. When they built the Walt Disney World monorail, really, since they've been built, they have not changed. They built the 2 loops around the Seven Seas Lagoon, which they used for the Express monorail and the Resort monorail. And then in 1982, they built the Epcot monorail. That's it.
Yep.
When it comes to the actual trains themselves, did you know that they are numbered?
Yes.
You did.
Did you out there?
So they all have Mark.
I always thought it was Mock.
Nope, it's Mark.
Mark.
Like a name.
Yeah.
Mark.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I don't know all the details. I just know the ones that are pertinent to Disneydom.
Okay.
So the Mark I was the very first monorail at Disneyland. And when they had, that's the one that the current monorail looks most like. Then they had 2 other iterations, Mark II and Mark III. And that was what was running at Disneyland when they built Walt Disney World. And so in 1971, when Disney World opened, they had the Mark IV monorails. Then at Disneyland, they replaced the Mark IIIs with the Mark Vs. So yes, the marks actually go back and forth between the coasts.
Very confusing.
So 1, 2, 3, California, 4, Florida, 5, Disneyland. And that was the one that was there for the longest time. Through the 90s, through the early 2000s, all of that, that was the Mark V at Disneyland. Then in 1989, they opened up the new Mark VI at Disney World. Do you know what is currently running at Disney World?
Same one.
The Mark VI.
That's my childhood. I appreciate it. They've updated the interiors a little bit and
But this is the vehicles themselves are there from 1989.
Which is quite amazing that they're still going.
Yep. And then in the mid-2010s, that's when Disneyland updated again from the Mark V to the Mark VII, and that's what's currently operating is the Mark VII. So if you're in Florida, it's the Mark VI, and in California, it's the Mark VII. Obviously, there's a lot of other differences between them. What do we want to start with?
So I'll just go down. So the Disneyland ones are totally tiny. You have to really bend down. There's like benches
stand straight up.
In the middle. You can't stand. You're not holding onto handrails. The Disney World one, there's the benches just on the sides of each of the parts of each of the cars, but then there's a lot of room to stand up and hold onto handrails.
Part of that is, most of it really is because in Disneyland, it takes such tight turns and such sharp corners, it can't be very big. And also the clearances for the monorail and other areas is so tight, it can only be a certain size. And so that's one reason why it's so small. Whereas Walt Disney World, it had to be much bigger because they intended it to be primarily a transportation service.
It
At
fits a
Disneyland,
lot
it's
of
really
people.
not that.
I'm assuming there's a total capacity that it could hold, but it's a lot.
You'll also notice because the Disneyland monorail is so small, there is not really a ventilation system. Not really. And so that's why they usually have the windows open because that's the only way they can really get air moving.
And don't stick your hand out the window when you're in Disneyland because it will it'll hit a tree.
It 100% will hit a tree.
And I'm confused by and wonder how it works with the cast members who are in charge of trimming the trees and stuff to know this one might hit the monorail, so I don't know how it works, but
yeah. Whereas in Florida, they are much bigger. They have a ventilation system. Sometimes it works a little too much for my taste.
I mean, if it's a hot, humid day, it feels pretty good.
I don't want to go into a 55-degree room after I've been in 95-degree.
That's how Florida and Las Vegas operate. They overcompensate.
Okay, I'm assuming that says when it says 7 billion iterals, that means iterations.
Yeah, so we already talked about that.
I'm just making sure. Evidently, the Disneyland monorail, both are wheelchair accessible. In case you're wondering.
Yeah, we were confused by that because we've never been in a car in the Disneyland one that you could think would ever fit an ECB or a wheelchair. But evidently, there's a couple of the cars that can.
Obviously, they will let you know which ones are accessible. In the Walt Disney World monorail, all the cars are wheelchair accessible.
Technically they are. They save the middle ones for
just because
people
they need
waiting.
ramps.
Yeah, because they have to pull a ramp out, and but if needs be, they could still put it in any of the other ones.
It's just because there's a bit of a gap between the platform and the monorail, and they keep the ramps in the middle. And so that's why they usually just designate the middle is for wheelchairs. But they could put them anywhere.
The gap, please.
They don't put them everywhere, but they could if they wanted to.
Yep.
Whereas at Disneyland, certain cars are wheelchair accessible. Unding all over.
Winding all over.
We'd already talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of did. Well, it's just funny that you go into Disneyland on the Disneyland monorail, and it just keeps circling around, and you're like, this is clearly not a transportation piece. This is a ride.
And that's actually, that's an important difference you have to see between the two. In Florida, if you're used to Florida, you're used to seeing the monorails as number one, first and foremost, transportation. That's the main way you get from the Transportation Ticket Center to the Magic Kingdom. If you're staying in the Magic Kingdom Resort area, it's the main way you get there. From also the TTC, it's the only way you really get to Epcot. And so it's primarily transportation.
Yeah, if you are staying at the Contemporary and you want to go to Epcot, you have to do the monorail unless it's broken.
They don't
cannot
have
do a bus. You could do an Uber or something, but yeah, you have to take the monorail.
Whereas at Disneyland, I mean, it's not really that much of a transportation service. Unless you are staying at the Disneyland Hotel or want to be or happen to be in that part of downtown Disney, the western part of downtown Disney, it's really not much very good of a transportation service because it doesn't take you anywhere else. That's the only other place it goes. If you want to get over there, great. This is wonderful. But if that's not where you're aiming to go, you can stay on. You don't have to get off at Downtown Disney. You do have to get off when you get back to Disneyland.
Sometimes they require it if it's like a really, really busy day.
But they would tell you when you get on.
Yes.
But most of the time, if you get on in Tomorrowland, you have to get off in Tomorrowland. But if you can stay on. But if you get on in Downtown Disney, you must get off in Tomorrowland.
And to ride the Disneyland monorail, you have to have a ticket and a park reservation or park hopper to Disneyland. For Disney World,
it's not inside the park.
And even if you're not staying on property and you just want to go on the monorail because it's fun, you can do that.
We have seen people that ride it like a ride. I don't know why. It's not that exciting.
I love it.
It's not really like exciting though, especially when it's all busy and crowded. And that's when we see people using it as a ride.
But the soundtrack or whatever, the
you
voice.
You can sometimes not hear it anymore though.
I know. They made it so quiet on some of them. It's very strange.
But it's not really that much of a ride. There's not, unless you're on the Epcot monorail, there's not a ton to see. And even then, it's only when you get to Epcot.
When I was a child in 1912, you used to be able to ride the front of the Walt Disney World monorail. That is not the case anymore. In the Disneyland monorail, some of the times, if you ask and they're feeling generous and happy, and
it's not usually that. I don't know all the reasons.
I don't know the reasons, but they sometimes will let you sit in the front on the Disneyland one.
It's always that you can ask.
Yep.
Always, at Disneyland, you can always ask, like, is it possible to ride in the front? And they'll just say yes or no. But at Disney World, if you were to say it, they'd be like, nope.
No, not anymore.
It's a no. But yeah, Disneyland, you can ride in the front. It's actually really cool. We've done it a couple of times. It's really fun. And you get to ask there was one time we didn't even ask the cast member all the questions. There was a kid that was asking all the questions. They were good questions.
Yeah, we're like, we'll just sit back and listen.
Like he asked a question about how they stay safe, and like they said that they even have to test it in the mornings because there's a fail-safe mechanism on the monorail where if the two monorails get too close to each other, that it's supposed to automatically stop the other one. And they have to test that every morning, and if that doesn't go well,
it's or they delay the opening.
They delay the opening, or they only put one monorail out, or like because it's for safety. But they said, yeah, we test it every morning to make sure that fail-safe works.
Yeah, and so at Disneyland there are 3 monorails, but they never have more than 2 out. At Disney World, they have a lot.
The express monorail, we're pretty
usually
sure it's 3.
Sometimes 2. I've seen if it's not busy, because there's just the 2 stops. There's the TTC and the Magic Kingdom.
And then for the resort monorail, there's
usually 3 or 4.
There's usually like 4.
Yeah. Because they just kind of rotate through those 4 stops.
Yeah, there's 5 stops.
5 stops, yeah.
But I think they still just do 4. Because the Polynesia and the Grand Floridian are too close to each other.
Yeah, they are. Well, and the TTC and the Grand...
And the TTC, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian are too close to each other. And so I think they just count... They only have 2 for those 3 stops. But,
now, one weird thing...
And then at Disneyland, like you mentioned, there's 2 out, even though they do have 3. And if you're wondering, well, I swear I've only seen the same 2. 2 of the colors look oddly similar.
Yeah.
There's a blue one, which doesn't look anything like the other 2s, and that's usually out. And then they have monorail red, and they have monorail orange. The red and the orange can look very similar.
Yep. What was I going to say?
I do not know, and I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
Something about monorails.
Oh!
I'll have to think about it and see if we come back to it.
So another thing is at Walt Disney World, the monorails run all the time. They run well before the parks open. They run well after the parks
sometimes
close,
2 hours after.
Just to make sure, because it's the primary form of transportation, they're making sure that everyone's getting to and from where they need to go. At Disneyland, the monorail doesn't open until the park opens.
Yep, not before at all.
Nope, and it does not run during the fireworks. And it's mostly because it gets real close to where the fireworks go off, and so they don't need to have it there. It doesn't need to happen. So they also let you know it closes at a certain time because of the fireworks.
And if you wonder why they tap the horn, at least the one time, it's because sometimes the Matterhorn breaks down and they have to have people evacuate, and they could be like standing there, so just to warn people.
Yeah, they said they never know if there's going to be like cast members or other people standing there close to where the monorail is. So so they honk to let anyone know who's coming, that they are coming, so they can be prepared that the monorail is about to get really close to the Matterhorn. And that's why it always honks by the Matterhorn, always.
The Disneyland one often also doesn't run if it's a really hot summer day.
Yes.
Not sure why. I don't know if it's just the
because
ventilation.
I think it's because lack of ventilation.
Yeah, don't want to kill people.
Yeah. Obviously, it did infamously break down a few weeks ago.
Yes.
For an extended
Hours,
period of time.
And they had to evacuate people somehow. That would be interesting. Hopefully you're not afraid of heights.
Yeah. I mean, again, at least everyone's sitting.
Yeah.
They don't allow any
well, the nice thing
standing.
about the Disney World ones is there's so many. I mean, they have had issues. I think like 2 crashed into each other very lightly once, and they had some issues, and some of them break. But
It's almost like they're 37 years old.
but they do have backups. So
They have lots of monorails in Florida. One thing to also say, like for Disneyland, to what kind of helps make it where you're not just like wasting time waiting for the monorails to come through, because sometimes it can feel like you're wasting time. In downtown Disney, we've only ever gotten on the monorail in downtown Disney if we happen to be walking past and we're like, you know what, I just don't feel like walking,
Yep.
and I'd rather wait.
and there's not a huge line.
Although you can't really tell the line from outside.
Well, we've seen people trying to like scan their tickets, and we're like, oh, that's going to take forever, even just to get inside. So
Yeah, though usually it's pretty empty there. In Tomorrowland, do not run up because you see a monorail in the station. You are never going to make it up that ramp
it takes
before
so
they
long
close
to
the
go up
doors.
the ramp. Yep.
By the time the monorail's up there, like there's already so many people that have been waiting to get on, and they usually have already closed off the line for any new people, and so you're not going to make that next one. So do not like run
Yeah,
up
they
there.
often let like the whole group in, and then so there's still people in line, but they're not in the area that would be allowed to get on.
So just kind of be aware of that. And if you don't, I would not just like plan on we shall use the monorail. It's more like we've done it where it's like we're not very far from Tomorrowland. We're heading over to that direction anyway. Kind of tired. Should we just take the monorail?
Unless your kids just love trains and monorails and stuff, then sure. Just treat
If you're
it as a
using
ride.
it as a ride, then what difference does it make? Wait in line. But if you're using it more for transportation purposes, then I just wouldn't use it as like, just because it can get really, really busy, especially the end of the night and first thing in the morning. We never rope drop the monorail.
No.
Do not bother rope dropping the monorail. That is the dumbest thing you could do, because you will, it drops you off in the middle of Tomorrowland, but the park has already been open for ages.
And you wind around through Tomorrowland for 25 minutes.
Yeah, so don't use it, don't rope drop it. No. Do it later in the day, and then I don't plan on using it last thing at night to get back to your resort. I know you're probably thinking, oh, but I'm so tired. We'll ride at like 8:30 before they've closed for the fireworks, and we're like, we're not planning on staying for the fireworks, and we want to go back to our hotel. We'll do that, but not like 11:30, park closes in half an hour, I want to go back to the hotel, because a lot of other people have the same idea, and the monorail can only hold so many people.
Yep.
So just kind of something to, like, it's just not really that much of a transportation thing. And if you are thinking, oh, doesn't it go through the Grand Californian? Yes, it doesn't stop. So if you're staying at the Grand Californian, it doesn't get you close.
Yeah, you can't even jump out. The windows aren't big enough. I've tried. Just kidding. I feel bad for the people whose rooms are right there. It's not horribly loud, but there's rooms like you see going through there.
What does it say? Sort of quick and schwa trill and quick and schwa trill?
A quintessential track. So before I had taken Jordan to Walt Disney World for the first time, like 12 years ago.
You're talking about the safety spiel.
Yeah, just in general.
Oh, Disneyland doesn't have a quintessential one.
No,
but go on. I know what you're saying.
They do have a track, like they talk about,
but it
like,
changes all the time.
But yeah, when I told him about the monorail at Disney World and how much I love it and like all the nostalgia of it, he's like, whatever. But now he gets it. So the please stand clear of the doors, por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Which they don't do in Disneyland.
No, it's just so fun. And unfortunately, some of the monorail cars, it's really quiet. Or that one you'll hear, and then all of a sudden, as you're going, it's like, thank you for riding.
Anyway. The monorail, I feel like even though it's associated with both coasts, it definitely has more of a cult following in Florida than in Disneyland. And a lot of it is because, like we said, this is the number one way most people get to the Magic Kingdom is via monorail. Whereas at Disneyland, you see it, but more people see it than ride it.
Yep.
And so that makes a difference in
not as necessary.
Yeah. And so I think that's why it doesn't have quite the same cult following in California as it does in Florida. So if you're familiar with Walt Disney World, coming to Disneyland, don't expect the same experience out of the monorail because you won't get it. And then if you're going from California to Florida and you don't know it, the monorails are going to be your friend and also your worst enemy. because it's still part of the Disney transportation
It's
system.
the only way to get around for sometimes.
And it doesn't mean that it's great.
No. I just love the monorail in Disney World, though.
It has a weird smell.
It smells to me like a farm or something. But
It smells like lots of bodies. Anyway.
it's that pleather stuff that they have on the seats, I think.
And the fact that it's old.
Yeah.
So that is our episode for this week. I know we're just talking about monorails all the time. But it's, I don't know, we were just in Florida last month and we were like, we should talk more about this because people just don't understand how to use the monorail in California and they're used to over here. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. Hope you learned something from this.
If you are in the cult following of Florida and you're like, I must ride the one in Disneyland, you will be disappointed.
I wouldn't say disappointed, but you have to, only because you need to expect a different experience.
Yeah.
Do not expect anything to be the same.
It's so small and so weird. You're like, what the?
Yeah, just as you will not be disappointed as long as you're not expecting what you have in Florida.
Yep.
If you are expecting the same thing, you're going to be disappointed. But you have to understand they are very different.
Just think of the nostalgia and the history.
That is kind of the whole point of it.
Yep.
And it's more of like a sightseeing thing than anything else. So that's it for this week. Like we said, we are going to be in California on Sunday, Sunday through Wednesday. So,
although this Sunday is also the Oscars, so we're going to do the Walties
online.
We should have done it this week. But
we forgot that they were coming.
I had to look it up. Like when are the Oscars?
So we'll do the Walties probably actually next week.
So look for,
and then we'll do the trip recap the week after that.
Yep, look for nominations.
And if you're new and you don't know what we're talking about, you will understand.
You will hate us so much.
You will hate us so much, and you'll probably stop listening. It's great.
Yep.
Anyway, so make sure, if you haven't done so already, use our friends at Getaway Today to book your upcoming trip. Like we have said, they are really great to work with for hotels and tickets, or both, or either, whichever. It's a great way to help support us, but it doesn't cost you anything extra.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I think I just said follow us or something.
Just go ahead and follow us.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
And then make sure you subscribe to new episodes of the podcast so you can get new episodes. Subscribe. You know what I'm saying. Podcast, subscribe, drop, episodes, things going on.
Like and subscribe. Smash.
No.
Smash.
No. And then,
Hulk smash. Then.
No.
Fine.
No. And then we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.